All right, it's that time of the season, the back end of the season. The end game is almost here for many teams. Most teams got like 3, 4 games left. How's the table looking so far, Ishan?
Wide open. It's still wide open. I think no team is comfortable where they're at. They're looking behind their back, they're looking ahead of them. I think it's a very great time to be in the top five because I think right now your destiny's in your hands, right? So I think that just, one, great for the fans because, you're trying to watch every game as you can. And second, it's big for the players as well because this is why you get paid the money, right? So I think it's a very interesting 3, 4 games left for each team for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, it's crunch time, baby. The playoffs are almost here. So many teams vying for the playoffs. We'll start right at the bottom, actually. We'll start with 8, 9, 10 because they are a lock to get out of the tournament. Talking about SRH, Rajasthan Royals, and the Chennai Super Kings. Tala for a reason. No one expected, I know you and I didn't expect the bottom three to be two of those names. I think both of us said Rajasthan would probably be middle, maybe at bottom, but we didn't expect them to reach the playoffs anyways. But SRH and CSK were both in our top four, and they are literally at the bottom.
Yeah, no, and then hey, that's I guess what happens when you're faced with reality. I think for SRH, for example, everyone was up in the clouds with sort of their batting prowess and how they like to play the game. But if you can't show it on game day, those game plans, those players, those strike rates, they don't really matter, right? So unfortunately for SRH, you can plan as much as you want, but if you just have one game plan, teams will figure it out. And CSK, oh my gosh, I think there's a lot to say about CSK, a lot to say about the future of stars in CSK, right? You got aging stars such as Jadeja, Dhoni. It's interesting because they always used to find a way, but unfortunately this season they just couldn't find a way.
Yeah, yeah. Coming back to SRH, spot on SRH. I think the teams have figured them out. They know how to play them, whether it's bowling or batting. They seem to dish out the same type of performance, not performance, but the template every single game.
Hmm.
Try to hit hard with the bat all the way through. And then with the bowling, they just seem like they're kind of lackluster and no real plans, or maybe they have plans, but just not able to execute. And we also see like changes in which bowler bowls where. They keep trying different things and they seem all over the map. I don't understand why Pat Cummins doesn't open the bowling every single game. We just saw a game today where he took, they were playing DC. He took a wicket in each of the first balls of each of his first 3 overs. And he started off the game with a wicket. And I think Pat Cummins in that bowling lineup is your number one bowler, and he should be opening the bowling. Yeah, Shami, but Shami's all off color these days, and he's looking like I don't even know what he looks like because he's definitely not looking like Shami. I don't know what happened to Shami, but definitely ain't Shami on the field right now because he's just leaking runs all over the place, and I'm losing trust in him even for the England series coming up. And I know it's a different format.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Shami, for example, he had a decent Champions Trophy, obviously coming back from injury. But, for his T20 career, this performance this season definitely raises question marks. And to your point, just either SRH was too rigid in their approach because, are they making these changes too late? At least from a bowling perspective, with Pat Cummins coming up front. But even from a batting perspective, you had Abhishek Sharma, you had Travis Head, who everyone knows hard bat, hard hand. Yeah, hard bat, hard hand, swinging through the line of the ball every time. It doesn't work every time, right? So a lot to think about, a lot to reflect for SRH. But hey, that's just the IPL, right? But what were your thoughts on CSK? Because you may not be a CSK fan, but everyone's a Tala fan.
Oh yeah, big Tala fan. That's the only reason why I would follow CSK, and it's just been a disappointing season. Again, I feel they stuck to their old template that they've used for years, and you can't blame CSK because they've actually won chips with that template, with the core that they've had, a mix of experience and youth. I felt they lacked firepower in their batting, and they got some now with Dewald Bravis, and Taran as well. I like the promotion of Jaddu at the top, towards the top five, and I think they have something there maybe for next season, something to build on,
Mm-hmm.
especially with those two young openers at the top. I know with Rutu coming back, he'll probably take one of the slots, but it's nice to know you have two youngsters that you could probably groom for the future. So perhaps we see a different CSK lineup on the field next year.
For the different wicketkeeper.
I don't know. I don't know. That would be breaking news for sure.
You heard it here first.
Uh, all right. So let's talk about the top six. So we were talking offline, and you think that it's actually going to be a battle of the five teams right now, which are RCB, Punjab Kings, Mumbai Indians, Gujarat Titans, and Delhi Capitals. Almost said Deccan Chargers there. Shout out Deccan Chargers. You have no faith in KKR.
No faith in KKR, and I love the team, but one, I don't think they have the momentum to make a really late push into this season. You know, they're on the cusp, but when you're at the cusp, I think one, you need that self confidence, and two, you need some sort of momentum that pushes you through, that allows you to get those performances at the tail end of the tournament. I don't think KKR are there right now. I think Russell is his bowling isn't really there. His batting, sure, you know,
Mhm.
Varun Chakravarti, I know he got a few wickets last game, but it just seems like overall the team's morale isn't there to sort of make that extra push. I think DC, for example, you know, obviously the last few performances weren't the best, but when you have players like Stark, when you have players like KL Rahul, these are players who won are champions. They know how to win and they know the importance of this phase of the tournament. So I can see them make a late push. And I said this in our last pod. I'm going to say it now. I still don't think Gujarat are going to make it top four. I think, you know, they have a very solid batting three top. Sorry, they have a really solid top three batting batters, but you know, maybe if they face some pressure, they may not come over the line. So I definitely think there's going to be a swap, and that swap is going to be between Delhi and Gujarat. Sorry, yeah, GT. Yeah,
Okay. So interesting. I like the comments on Gujarat. I'll start there. So I'm with you there. I think Gujarat's a bit iffy just because I have no trust in that batting lineup. And when I say batting lineup, I'm talking about everyone after the top three. Because
fair.
right now, the bulk of the scoring is being done by the top three. Every time I turn on a Gujarat match, it's 95 for no loss, and you have Sai Sudarshan and Shuman Gill just milking it around like it's nothing. But we haven't seen them at 50 for three or a 40 for two. And you have Butler coming in one down where he's steadying the ship versus having a platform set already. Or you have Shah Rukh Khan coming in or even a Sherfin Rutherford coming in when the
Yep.
chips are down. We haven't seen that yet from Gujarat's batting. And I think until I see that, I have no trust in the Gujarat lineup because if you have Tavatia coming at 6 and Rashid Khan coming at 7, I think that's a shallow batting lineup. If you told me Rashid Khan coming at 9 or 8, different story. So it'll be interesting to see how they react in a situation where they're under pressure. Right now, that opening pair has just given them a start almost every single game. So until that happens, yeah, I'm with you there. I think there is a high possibility that Delhi can flip them over and take the number 4 spot.
Do you give KKR a little bit of extra boost compared to me?
Yes. And here's my reasoning behind it. So if you look at the last 6 games, and I'm looking at it right now on the Cricinfo app, shout out Cricinfo. So
Shout out Quick Info, sponsor us.
the last 6 games, KKR are 3 for 3, and one of them is a time. It's a no results game because of
Yep.
rain. So they've only lost 2 of their last 6 games. And then you look at DC, Delhi Capitals, last 6 games, they've won one. They've won one game. And out of the remaining 5, 2 of them were no results and 3 losses. So you could either say that no luck, or you could either say that they seem to be losing a little bit of steam here at the back end. When you
Mm-hmm.
look at DC's start, they started off first 6 games or first 5 games 4-1. Right? So whereas KKR has been like consistently inconsistent, But then if you look at the last
Mm-hmm.
6 games, they have a better winning track record than DC. So I think the momentum's more with KKR from that perspective. And so I still see them in the hunt. And similarly, when I look, like I know we haven't talked about Lucknow. I think both of us agree that Lucknow's probably not coming to the top. But even in their recent form, in the last 6 games, they have, worse than KKR. So last 6 games, they're 2 for 4, 2-4. Right? So 4 losses, 2 wins, and last 3 games they lost in a row. So momentum's not looking good with them either. So I'm putting my analytical hat, and just based on that, I'm thinking KKR's probably has a shot. It's going to be between GT, DC, KKR for that number 4 spot.
Yeah, no, I see you on that one. I think the number 4 position is going to be really, really interesting at the tail end of this tournament. But I guess on the flip,
Yes.
let's talk about RCB, let's talk about Mumbai, and let's talk about Punjab. Where do you want to start?
All right, so I guess we can start with who's taking the top 2, because this race looks super tight. Mumbai, after a horrific start as usual,
Horrific.
4 losses, 1 win in the first 5 games, and they've gone 6 in a row with the Doubles. So they're the hottest team right now, I'd say. Punjab's been consistent. They haven't had like bad streaks losing or big streaks winning. They've been fairly consistent. And same with RCB. Although RCB's also had a streak recently, they've won 4 in a row. So amongst those 3, the question is who's finishing top 2?
I think the IPL's rigged. I think Mumbai's going first. I'm just kidding. No, but I think, yes, to your point, with the form Rohit Sharma's getting into, and I know we were talking off air, but with their bowling lineup of Bolt, Deepak Chahar, Bumrah, they are an incredible force. And I think, to your point, everyone is sort of coming into tune right now. Everything's sort of locking in properly. So, yeah, I do think, Mumbai, as usual, is, I think, going to be number 1. And I think, again, to the point of momentum, I think RCB are in a great mind frame right now. I think things are working for them. I'm going to put them in number 2.
Okay, so you got RCB number 2, Mumbai at the top. That'll be solid for TV ratings for sure. Who doesn't want that? Because one of them loses, you're getting an extra game with one of them playing. And the TV sponsors must be licking their lips, wanting them to finish.
Star Sports is licking their lips.
Give me that money printing machine right now. Okay, I like it. I think I can't argue with that. Mumbai's definitely been gelling. When you look at what I said about GT and we look at Mumbai, Mumbai bats so deep. You got literally 3 or 4 of Team India players in that top 6. Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya, Surya Kumar Yadav, and Tilak Verma. Those 4 alone on any given day can win you a match. Then you have Ron Rickleton, who's been surprisingly consistent for his first ever games in India, period. He hasn't played for South Africa yet in India. Hasn't played any other games in India. This is his first time playing in India, and he's playing absolutely well for someone playing their first season in India. And then you have the lower order, Naman Dheer, who's been okay with his cameos right at the end.
Yeah.
Who did they get in recently? Because they dropped Santner and they played someone else, and I just not coming to me. I gotta check a scorecard here. But they got Will Jacks, Will Jacks, and no, Corbin Bosch. But we can't forget Will Jacks either. He's been in good form as well. And Corbin Bosch, they just brought him in. I think it's because they're trusting Will Jacks more with being that number 2 spinner.
Yes.
I think Karan Sharma has become sort of reliable for them in the last few games. So he seems to be number 1 right now. And so that means that they probably don't need a Mitchell Santner. So they can give that to someone like a Corbin Bosch, who gives them another fast bowling option in case one of the other 3-4 options in fast bowling don't do as well. But it's nice because if they play on a spinning wicket, like a Chennai type style wicket, they can always bring in Mitchell Santner instead of Corbin Bosch. So I like them. I think they definitely have it to get to top 2. They definitely have it all to win the championship right now. Like, they have X factors everywhere. You look at that lineup. The one person that you don't really know about is Naman Dheer.
Yeah. No,
Everyone else has done something either in the IPL or in leagues outside. Like Corbin Bosch has done well in the SAT20, so has Ryan Rickleton. And Will Jacks has done well in the BBL. He's done well in the 100. Wherever he goes, like he's a T20 gun, right? A gun for hire. Yeah, this team's looking really good. And then you said RCB. I
Yes.
like them too. I like them too. I think also they bat deep, and now they found another finisher to pair up with David in Romario Shepherd. That last game
Ooh.
against Chennai was absolutely insane. 14 balls, 53. He came in, RCB were 157 for whatever wickets down, with 2 overs left. 2 overs left, and he scores a 50 in those last 2 overs.
No, no, it was one of those innings that you will remember because it just seemed like what was being done was the impossible. It seemed like no one can hit that far, and no one can hit every single ball that comes at them. He was in his zone, and I think he mentioned it in one of his press conferences or interviews after, where he was feeling it, and he just let the, sort of the flow just naturally play his game. So
Yeah,
sometimes when players are in that, you can tell, and he was definitely
yeah.
in that.
That innings reminded me of a Kyron Pollard innings.
Oh
Kyron,
yes, yes.
like Kyron Pollard at his prime when he used to win games for Mumbai Indians right in the back end, and that was one of those innings. And Mumbai, I don't know why you didn't retain him, but I guess you didn't have all the money in the world to pay every single player since they kept all the stars. So I guess you got to give up some. But yeah, great innings, and he looks like that missing piece now because now and David's looking good as well. So if you have those two at the back end, that is insanity for any other bowling team to look at, like facing up against them in the back six. You don't want to do that. And then you have their Mr. Reliable at the top, the king himself. Like he's been in great touch.
Yep,
Backed
he
up
has.
well by Salt, who's is he injured? Is Salt injured? Is that why Bethel's been playing?
I think he may have hurt his hand, but I don't think he's hurt. I think they may have just rotated Bethel this time, but Bethel as well
Yeah.
been doing well.
Yeah, yeah. Last game scored a 50. First game looked nice in that little 12 that he made. They again have all bases covered. They have backups where needed, and they go deep with the batting lineup. Their bowling lineups in form. Surprisingly, we all thought that they would get cleaned up every single
We did.
for sixes and fours, but for some reason they seem to be doing well. Even in the last game, Josh Hazelwood didn't play, if I'm not mistaken,
He
and
didn't
they
play, I
played
think.
right. They played what's his name again? Who did they play?
Left
They
arm
played
fast
Lungi.
bowler? No.
They had Lungi and Gidi instead of
Nagiri, yeah, Nagiri, yeah.
yeah, and he comes up and takes a three for against Chennai, and his effort was the difference maker. If you look at that scorecard, that was a great game too, by the way. And he was a standout bowler, and he just came in. That was his first game of the season. So both those teams, Mumbai and RCB, look stacked. They look well balanced, and they have enough backups in case they have injuries or things of that nature.
No, I completely agree, but I don't think you mentioned who's getting number one, who's getting number two.
I'll go with you. Actually, no, I don't want to go with you. I'll go RCB number one, and I'll go Mumbai Indians number two. No offense.
Oh no, none taken. No, no, I get that. Don't worry, don't worry.
So
One of us is gonna be right. Well, maybe Punjab will come through. Who knows?
yeah, yeah. Watch us both be wrong, and Punjab just lands up at the top. So speaking of Punjab, so you don't feel confident enough in them to be top two, but do you think they still have a chance at winning the chip, even if they just get into the playoffs?
Yes, no, no, that's exactly where I was going. I don't. I think, especially at the tail end of the tournament, I think Punjab may look to sort of I wouldn't say rest players, but just be watchful of just do they really want to go all gears in for the one position, or do they want to like settle down for a playoff spot? I think they may just settle down for a playoff spot. But when it comes to the playoffs, I think on any given match day, Punjab can win that game. I think it's if it's against Delhi, if it's against Mumbai, if it's against RCB, I think one, they have I think the bowling power to definitely knock down some wickets early on, put pressure on the opposition. We've seen how Arshdeep has been. He's been great. Yeah, UZCL now coming into form as well. So, he definitely has some tricks up his sleeve. And then even from their batting perspective as well, Shreyas Iyer, I think, leading from the front, and then also with his captaincy. I think again, there's one of those teams that are very balanced, that are able to click as well. So I think, yeah, when it comes to match day, game day, Punjab has an equal chance of defeating any team in the IPL.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, their batting lineup is also very deep, and they also have a lot of backups. They keep swapping out their overseas players, and they've been giving Josh English a run. He's played the last 5-6 games. Glenn Maxwell, I don't know how he's coming back into this team, but maybe he can on a spinning
He's
wicket.
injured.
Oh,
He's
he's
injured. He's
injured
been
now.
ruled out. He's been
That
ruled
makes
out.
that makes it easier for.
They got someone from the PSL. I forgot their name.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be good to know who they got. But as you find that out, they still look deep because they have Azmatullah Omazai in there as well, and Marcus Stoinis is looking good as that finisher role again. I know he's been
Yes.
moved around over the years in the IPL, playing at various spots, but he's back at that number 6, number 7. I think that's where he did a lot of damage for Australia back in his prime, and when Australia won that T20 chip in UAE. I think it was during COVID. And Stoinis was deadly at number 6, number
He
7.
was. Yeah.
I've always felt like that's where he's most dangerous. Yeah, he has the ability to build innings, but he has the ability to play like a David style innings or a Mario Shepard. Like he has the power, he has the ability to go bang from ball 1. And we saw that in the last game where he faced 5 balls and strike rate of 3. Easy.
That's all you need. And speaking of
Yeah.
Australians, Mitch Owen is going to be joining
Oh,
Punjab 11. Yeah.
so he's the one that scored 100 in the last BBL final. And he made a name for himself. Wow, that's a big signing. That's interesting. That's an interesting signing too, because he's an opener, and their openers look established. So
They did.
if anything, he's playing for Josh English. He's probably in there as a backup for Josh English because right now Josh English is at number 3. So
Yeah.
it's interesting that they signed him. I guess it's probably as a backup option in case their top 3 in case there's any injuries or something like that of that nature to bat in the top order. That's an interesting selection.
Yeah, no, exactly that. But no, to your wider point, they're very balanced and they have those backups wherever they're needed, right? And Punjab as well. I think to be a competitive force in the playoffs, I think alongside obviously Mumbai, RCB, and whatnot, you need match winners, and Punjab has those match winners. Whether that's Shreyas Iyer, whether that's even Marco Jansen, he is a match winner. If it is day, he can get you 2-3 quick wickets up at the top, pressure on the opposition.
Yeah.
Arshdeep Singh, Yuzi Chahal.
Yeah.
So, with these players there, I would consider them to be momentum shifting, match winning players. And in the playoffs, you need those players in the IPL.
Yeah. And I think their batting is deep enough that we don't need to see experiments like Marco Jansen batting at number 5 and number 6. I don't want to see that ever again.
I saw that.
What are you doing? You have Shashank Singh, Marcus Stoinis, Neil Vadera, and you send out Marco Jansen? Like, come on. Like, I know he can hit the ball, but I'll leave him at number 8, number 9, where he can tonk a few at the end. But I don't need to see him batting at number 5.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, whether they're trying to rebalance something, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. I think they may have won that game too, right?
Probably, but I don't
It
know.
was
how
only scored 200, I think.
It was
scored
probably a
200 in that.
matchup thing, knowing Ricky Ponting.
Yeah. Knowing Ricky Ponting. Yeah, and they got Ricky Ponting as a coach, who we know, championship mindset. So yeah, interesting times ahead for the IPL.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up our roundup for this week. Like we said at the start, just the last 3-4 games of the season for each team. This is crunch time. This is when the IPL gets super interesting. Lots of nail biting that happens and lots of permutations. We're gonna hear all about the net run rate in the next few games. Man. All right. Well, that's a good place to wrap it up. That stumps.